Eat That Frog by Tracy. Chapter 13. Identify your key constraints. Concentrate all your thought on the task at hand. The sun's rays do not burn until brought to a focus. Alexander Graham Bell. Between where you are today and any goal or objective that you want to accomplish, there is one major constraint that must be overcome before you can achieve the major goal. Your job is to identify it clearly. What is holding you back? What sets the speed at which you achieve your goals? What determines how fast you move from where you are to where you want to go? What stops you or holds you back from eating that frog that can really make a difference? Why are not you at your goal already? These are some of the most important questions you will ever ask and answer on your way to achieving high level of personal productivity and effectiveness. Whatever you have to do, there is always a limiting factor that determines how quickly and well you get it done. Your job is to study the task and identify the limiting factor or constraint within it. You must then focus all of your energies on elevating that single choke point. Identify the limiting factor in virtually every task, large or small. A single factor sets the speed at which you achieve the goal or complete the job. What is it? Concentrate your mental energies on that one key area. This can be the most productive use of your time and talents. This constraint may be a person whose help or decision you need, a resource that you require, a weakness in some part of the organization, or something else. But the limiting factor is always there, and it is always your job to find it. For example, the purpose of a business is to create and keep customers. By doing this in sufficient quantities, the company makes a profit and continues to grow and flourish. Every business has a limiting factor or choke point that determines how quickly and well the company achieves this purpose. It may be the marketing, the level of sales, or the sales force itself. It may be the cost of operation or the methods of production. It may be the level of cash flow or cost. The success of the company may be determined by the competition, the customer, or the current marketplace. One of these factors, more than anything else, determines how quickly the company achieves its goal of growth and profitability. What is it? The accurate identification of the limiting factor in any process and the focus on that factor can usually bring about more progress in a shorter period than any other single activity. The 80-20 rule applied to constraints. The 80-20 rule also applies to the constraint in your life and in your work. This means that 80% of the constraints, the factor that are holding you back from achieving your goals, are internal. They are within yourself, within your own personal qualities, abilities, habits, disciplines, or competencies, or they are contained within your own company or organization. Only 20% of the limiting factor are external to you or to your organization. Only 20% are on the outside in the form of competition, markets, governments, or other organizations. Your key constraint can be something small and not particularly obvious. Sometimes you have to make a list of every step in a process and examine every activity to determine exactly what is holding you back. Sometimes a single negative perception or objection on the part of customer can be slowing down the entire sales process. Sometimes the absence of a single feature can be holding back the growth of sales of a product or service line. Look into your company honestly. Look within your boss, your coworkers, and members of your staff to see if there is a key weakness that is holding you or the company back. Acting as a brake on the achievement of your key goals. Look into yourself. Successful people always begin the analysis of constraints by asking the question, what is it in me that is holding me back? They accept complete responsibility for their lives and look to themselves for both the cause and cure of the problems. In your own life, you must have the honesty to look deeply into yourself for the limiting factor or limiting skill that sets the speed at which you achieve your own personal goals. Keep asking, what sets the speed at which I get the result I want? Strive for accuracy. The definition of the constraint determines the strategy that you use to elevate it. The failure to identify the correct constraint or the identification of the wrong constraint can lead you off in the wrong direction. You can end up solving the wrong problem. The major corporation, a client of mine, was experiencing declining sales. The corporation's leaders concluded that the major constraint was the quality of the sales force and the sales management. They spent an enormous amount of money recognizing the management and retraining the salespeople. They later found that the primary reason that sales were down was a mistake made by an accountant who had accidentally priced their product too high relative to their competition in the marketplace. Once the corporation revamped its pricing, its sales went back up and it returned to profitability. Behind every constraint or choke point, once it is located and elevated successfully, you will find another constraint or limiting factor. Whether you are trying to get to work on time in the morning or build a successful career, there are always limiting factor and bottlenecks that set the speed of your progress. Your job is to find them and to focus your energies on elevating them as quickly as possible. Starting off your day with the removal of a key bottleneck or constraint fills you full of energy and personal power. It propels you into following through the completing the job. And there is always something. Often elevating a key constraint or limiting factor is the most important frog you could eat at that moment. Eat that frog. First, identify your most important goal in life today. What is it? What one goal, if you achieve it, would have the greatest positive effect on your life? What one career accomplishment would have the greatest positive impact on your work life? Second, determine the one constraint, internal or external, that set the speed at which you accomplish this goal. Ask, why have not I reached it already? What is it in me that is holding me back? Whatever you answers, take action immediately. Do something, do anything, but get started. Thank you.